welcome to Desk of Lady Ada.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada, and this is my desk. And we're doing a Sunday night stream. We're going to do some electronics repair. We're going to do some electronic searching. It's a good day in New York. We had 0 COVID deaths.
We're back, and oddly enough, I looked at the file date from when we last did Desk of Lady Ada, and unfortunately, it was one of the worst days for New York City.
Yeah,
it was. Most hospitalizations, most people dying. And today, we just got the news. We shared it with our team. We posted on the blog. Today, we had 0 deaths in New York. They may update it later because sometimes there's a lag. But either way, it's been a lot of progress. And yes, there's a lot of things that could have been done better everywhere. But you have to celebrate some progress. So the last time we did Desk of Lady Ada was in April. It was April 16th.
Yep.
And today is Sunday, July 12th. And thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us during this time, carrying us during this time, purchasing things. We're shipping over 1,000 orders a day. We're shipping AdaBox this month. So we're back to Desk of Lady Ada. Lady Ada, what are you going to build today?
Okay. So today we're going to do some repair. Like about a year ago, maybe it was last Christmas, I picked up one of these Ember mugs, and this is like, it's got a battery and a heating element inside of it, and you basically charge it up overnight, and in the morning when you make coffee or tea, it just keeps it warm for another like extra hour and a half, more than a normal mug, which is kind of nice because it means, as I'm doing my email at work, I sip tea slowly so it doesn't get cold. Just the cool thing. So it basically works, except that the charging plate stopped working. And let's go to the overhead and I'll show how this thing works. Okay, so this is the bottom of the mug. And hold on. You can see it's got like this kind of rubbery foam. It's a little dirty because it's just been used for so long. And then there's these 2 metal rings, and these 2 metal rings are what's used to charge the internal battery. And then if you look on the plate that it sits on, like this sits on the plate like so. This plate has 2 dots, and these 2 dots are what make contact with the ring on the bottom to charge it. And this works great for a couple months, and then eventually what happens is, because this area gets damp, this starts to oxidize. Even though these are gold contacts, you can kind of see they're a little golden. You can see, especially when you put down the mug, that little spark is created. There's like a little spark gap because you don't touch them perfectly. So there's a little bit of rattle when you put the cup down. So between that and the dampness, these little spots oxidize, and so when I put the mug on, it no longer charges. And it's pretty clear that this, not only is it oxidized and kind of dirty, but it's not springy. These used to be like springy contacts, and they're definitely not springy anymore. So the first thing I wanted to check was, is this even like working at all, or is there some electronics, like a fuse or something, broken? So I pull out my handy dandy multimeter, and I measure the voltage between these 2, and with these probes I can really push in quite a bit, so I can push through the oxidation. And I got the polarity wrong, but if I spin it around this way, you'll see it gives you about 20 volts. Right, it's clearly like 20 volt supply or 19 volt supply, and then there's a little bit of overage or underage. So this is getting power. Like this cable is good, this power cable, but it's definitely the fact that these are not springy and they're oxidized. So these are, I could probably buy another one of these, but I don't want to. I'd rather just fix it. So to repair it, I kind of started this process, so you'll see. I unplug this. And then after much rooting around, I figured out that actually there's a screw at the bottom here.
Yeah, the first thing when I start to take apart things now, I'm just like, if there's usually a screw under the rubber feet, or like the rubber mat that's underneath it. That's the first thing I peel off now.
Yeah, so I got
Learn my lesson.
I got this nice screw set, Weha screw set, so it was easy doing. So remove that, and then this comes off pretty easily then. And you can see there's actually almost nothing inside of here. There's a power plug with a little foam, protector. 2 wires come out, they're hand soldered, and they go to this little adapter plate, and then this is like a metal, like a ceramicized metal cover. So this is also just basically like glued on. And you can see that there's some oxidation or the PCB material flaked off. And then here are the 2 contacts. So you can see there's like a plus and a minus. There's these 2 contacts. You can't tell because they're quite small, but these have no spring to them whatsoever. They're totally just sort of oxidized in place. So we want to replace these. So you could, Google and see like if somebody else has come up with a replacement part number. But I wanted to show how you would use Digi-Key search to find the replacement part if you didn't know it. Because if you know what you're looking for, you just type in the part number. But sometimes what's interesting is how do you find a replacement or repair part when you don't know the part number, you don't know what it is. So let's get started. We'll go to the Digi-Key website.
Yeah.
So the first thing.
One thing, so we're going to probably have a new series about how to search and get what you're looking for in the Digi-Key site. So we started this back in April, and then just because of the sheer heaviness of what was going on, we couldn't do Desk of Lady Ada. We continued our shows during the week, but Desk of Lady Ada was just a little bit challenging to do in addition to keeping us in business and alive. So if things work out, and we believe they should, we're going to be chatting with Digi-Key, and we're going to have this as a series because a lot of people asked us straight up, there's so many things on Digi-Key.
Millions.
How do I search for stuff like Lady Ada? So this is that series.
Okay.
This is a preview.
So the first thing is you do have to kind of know what category of thing it is that you're looking for. And I happen to know that this is a spring contact because I've worked with these before. If you don't know the name, that's tough. There are ways to search by photo, but when it's on a PCB, it's harder to get that photo like excised away. But in this case, I do know it's a spring contact, so you can just type that in. And there's a couple different kinds. There's just the spring-loaded and pressure contacts, which you can see I cheated. I already kind of did this search. There's a couple others. It'll tell you how many there are per category. Now, I know this is going to be a connector interconnect. It's not, RFID, and it's not a kit, and it's not a relay. But that's just a matter of trying to look through these. And sometimes I don't get the right category at first, and that's totally fine. You can just kind of go forward and back until you find the right category. One of the things that will help you know if you have the right category is when you click on it. And before you even do any sub-searching, start looking at the photos of the products, and don't forget you can mouse over to get a nice big image. Some of these don't have springs, but some of them it's like, oh, this is actually getting kind of close. It's not exactly what we have here, but it's pretty close, right? It's got that nub, and it's got that connector, and then this one actually looks really close. That's pretty much what the connector on this charging plate looks like. And that's actually a good hint, because what it does is then I look at the description of it to determine what the subtype is. So this is a surface mount sleeve and plunger. And no, I would have called it a pogo pin or whatever. This is called a sleeve and plunger. So use the images, even if it's not exactly the same thing, it'll give you a hint of what to use to cut down the number of items, because there's 500 items in this category. So we want to pare it down so we can actually start doing more precise measurements. So the first thing I'm going to do is the mounting type. We looked at the PCB. Can you go back to the PCB real fast?
Yeah.
When you look at the PCB, it doesn't. These are contact pads. These are through hole. There's no actual pin going through here. The dots are just your vias that are going through the PCB. So this is a surface mount connector. So back to the computer. I'm going to select surface mount, and you see here it tells me how many it cut away, right? As you start to cut away categories. So this will give me about half. So that's kind of nice. I got rid of like half of the items. The other thing is I'm going to do is I'm going to pick only active items. Now, if you're only replacing a couple things, it could be obsolete, but I tend to only look at active items because it means I'll probably be able to get it again. Whereas if it's obsolete or deprecated, you may not be able to. Okay, then it's like, what's the contact type? And so the contact pad, target disc, sleeve, and plunger. And when we go here, you see like these are contact pads that like, it's literally just like a pad. I think they get soldered on and it just gives you like a target for pogo pins. So we don't want this. We want the sleeve and plunger type that we found in these other images. So I'm going to select sleeve and plunger, and that will get rid of like a couple dozen more. Okay, so now we're actually getting to like we have to actually start dividing out these. Now, this is where I start taking measurements. So let's go to the overhead, and we can start measuring things like what's the diameter of this and what's the height of it, because you can see there's like there's dozens of different heights and diameters. So let's start with the diameter of the pogo pin itself, and it's like about 1.6 millimeters. Let me write that down. And then you want to get the working height. So that's the height of the contact. So to do that, I'll use the little depth gauge part of the calipers I've got. And, they're a little oxidized, so it's not going to be exact. But I get about 2.7 millimeters. So height is about 2.7. Okay, so let's go back to the search and see if they can use that information that we just got. So let's see, the recommended working height, again, we got about 2.7, but it's oxidized and it's stuck, so it's it could have been a little bit higher. So I'm going to pick 2.5 up to 3. I'm going to give myself about a half a millimeter, or so that it could be higher. Maybe I'll do up to 3.5 or something. Although that's quite high. Okay, so that's actually really reduced the number down to 30 results. So that's good. The next thing is the diameter. So it turns out there's actually no the diameter of the contact itself. There's the pad layout diameter, which is actually a little bit different. So let's go look at what the pad diameter is on the overhead. So this, I can kind of make out the pad. It's about 2.3 millimeters. I mean, it's a little oxidized, but I can kind of see it. All right, so then back to the computer. And here under pad layout dimensions, I'll pick between 2 and 2.2, right? Because I got 2.3, but it was kind of hard to know exactly. Given that the diameter of the contact itself is 1.6, you need more than 1.8. So let's apply that. Okay, cool. So now we have only a couple items, very few, and one of them isn't even stocked. So let's just only look at the items that are in stock or normally stocking right now. Looking good. And then another thing to watch out for is, even though it says up here that there's 6 results, that includes every possible packaging format of the item. So you'll see these are actually P70, 1045, P1045R. These are actually these 3 are all the same, because this one is a tape and reel. You buy 14 100 at a time. This one is cut tape, which means it comes just exactly in the number that you want. And this is a digi-reel, which means they give you a leader and a trailer and they put it on a reel for you. So it's for a pick and place. Now, we're not a pick and place machine, so I'm going to go up and select cut tape to only show the packaging format of the two items that are available. So these are the two. So there's this one, which we actually saw something similar to this, and it looks really correct. This one, which doesn't have a photo, but you can always click on the data sheet, and you can get, it looks something like this, and so very similar. They have slightly different heights. So this one is much taller, it looks like. So this one can go up to 3.8 millimeters. It probably has a much taller spring. But this one here looks pretty good. It has the working height of 2.9 millimeters, which is basically what we measured. 2.7 is the minimum, which is what we measured when the spring was kind of oxidized and stuck. So I think I'm going to order some of these. Okay, so I ordered them, and then they came in.
So through the magic.
Through the magic.
Let me. Here, you can put that on the overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here it is. We got the package here.
So
if you want to hold it up.
Yeah, I got the Digi-Key package.
There's a lot of pictures online. There's a lot of pictures online of things that are cakes. This is not a cake.
It's not a cake.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe it is a cake.
So it arrived already. Great.
It arrived already.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like a cooking show. I'll take it out of the oven.
I had a pretty good idea. I was confused for this. So then you unwrap the unending wrapper.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's go back to the overhead and we can look at our pride and joy. Okay, so we've got the contact spring contacts. And I open it up and it comes on cut tape. Like I said, it comes exactly the number that you get. And each one actually has a little plastic cover. So you're wondering, like, what's the black thing? It's the plastic cover. And then when you remove it, you get the actual contact itself, which is quite small. But it looks to be a really good match. Like, this is what it should look like. So I'm ready to repair this. So I guess the next thing is, Phil, you want to keep going? I can grab the soldering iron and try fixing this, or we could...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you answer any questions people have while I go grab the iron?
Well, yeah, you can go ahead over there.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any questions yet. There was an observation that they could tell that you already bought this because the link was purple.
Yes.
And that is
well, this
true.
means I clicked on it.
You did click it, so that was a known. Couple things. From just catching up, so the plan is to have Desk of Lady Ada around 8 o'clock on Sundays. We do hacker time for that. When you look at the show listing in Discord, it's on hacker time.
Hacker time?
So that's just about any time that we can do it. So if things work out, you'll see Desk of Lady Ada, Sundays-ish. And we'll be able to bring this excellent programming to all of you. Searching a giant site like Digi-Key is a skill. And then once you learn it, it's something that as a professional engineer or maker, you'll be able to get what you need as fast as possible. And it's pretty much the best search out there, and this is why we use it a lot. But how to use it is it's powerful. It's powerful, but it's like with great power comes great search responsibility. Okay, so don't forget to have your disk unplugged. You do not want to be soldering while it's powered. Okay. I had heated this up already. I'm going to give myself a little bit of thermal juice here, and then see if I can carefully, but so it's like
solidly.
It's like being a dentist. It's like it's a loose tooth.
It's
Okay.
like, extracted.
All right.
Okay, so that's one.
One down.
And it's like super gross. Okay, and then this is the replacement.
And what's your technique? Are you going to do the replacement already, or are you going to?
Yeah, because I just want to see what,
Yeah.
whether it's happy.
What type of clamp is that? There's a question from the chat.
This is a Panavice.
Yeah, we sell these in the store.
Okay, so I just want to show the comparison.
New pin.
New, and you see how this has it's springy.
Yeah.
Like this actually has a little bit of.
That's what it was meant to be.
It's supposed to. It's supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So when the cup sits down, it makes the contact.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like.
By the way, like
No.
this is going to be the reason why a majority, or at least a big chunk of all of our electronics stopped working because it's like a worn out pogo pin.
Absolutely.
So this is a good thing to learn and experiment and try, especially if something's broken. Because if it's already broken, who cares? Try to fix it.
I will say, I think actually this is a through hole. There's a little bit of a pad. Turns out it didn't matter. I didn't think to remove these because I wanted to do that live. There's a little bit of a not, it's like a through hole, but it's like a orientation pin. But I think I can do without. I don't think that's necessary. All right, so then removing another one from here. Okay. And these are slippery. That's why you always get extras, because your parts will fly away from you.
Especially if you do it on live video.
Especially if you do it on live video.
Does the circuit for the pads look like it has good protection from shorting?
There is no protection at all.
Okay.
It's a straight pass through. Okay, so now you've got two springy bits. So now what I want to check before I try putting this together too much is, yeah, there's orientation. These two dots have to be kind of exactly the right distance, like to go through these two holes.
Okay.
So also must be this way. Oh yeah, so yeah, now, well, yeah, look, it's perfect.
Okay.
So now these little, it's kind of hard to see.
Okay, folks like that the Desk of Lady Ada videos have returned. Thank you. The best way to make sure we do this every week is one, say, please do it every week. Two, hit like. Three, but kind of the most important thing is once in a while purchase something.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to put this back here, and then I quickly.
Yeah, you gotta kind of mash it down.
I kind of have to. Yeah. Okay, so now it's sitting in place,
Yeah.
and then there you go.
Okay.
So this is good. There's little pogos in there. They're sticking out.
Yeah.
And then
Now I gotta put that
I'm
screw
gonna put
back
the
in.
screw back in. This is the hardest part because I'm like, where did I put it? Hello. Here it is. Okay. And then what's nice is I got extras, and I'm just gonna keep, even though there were only like 60 cents a piece or something.
Yeah.
I'll keep them so that if this happens again in 6 months, which it will, it's just the design of the it's an inherent design decision that they made.
All right. So now what?
Okay, so now let's plug this in.
Okay. It's 2020. You have to charge your mug.
This keeps going out of focus.
Mug as a service will be the next thing.
Okay,
We'll
so
do it that
then,
way.
yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna see if this thing is working.
I gotta see if I soldered this right. So, good. We're back to 19.3 volts.
Now what?
Now I put the mug on top
How do we know it's working?
because this thing lights
That's
up.
working.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a huge risk. You did this live. Could have.
Yeah, see the red?
Ended in tragedy, but
This
I'm so
it
perfect
could have
in this.
easily ended in tragedy. So you can see it, as it there's a little red light.
Yeah.
Well,
For
it's
folks who
charging.
want to know, so this mug, just to be clear, what it does, it keeps things warm for a long period of time. That's the whole point of it.
That's the only point of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So like if you fill it with coffee, and you're sitting at your desk for like 5 or 6 hours at a time like Lady Ada does.
Like I do.
And I know you're a tea drinker, but
I do tea.
coffee is fine.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea or whatever beverage. It'll keep it warm for a really long period of time, so you can stay at your desk and design electronics mostly.
So there you go.
Okay.
That's how you find a part. You search a part, you order a part, you get the part, you replace the part, you fix your thing. So instead of buying a $100 mug, I now have a happy working mug for only a couple bucks.
Okay.
And now it sits here.
And now it's
Yay.
working.
Now it's working.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. That's our Desk of Lady Ada for tonight. We will be back next week. We're going to be talking to Digi-Key, actually tomorrow, about really extending out the series. So stay tuned. Thank you so much, everyone. And then one just shout out. If you're in New York, thank you so much for... there was a huge sacrifice that New Yorkers made. Everyone lost someone or something, and for months we went through, and we're still going through as a nation and the world, is one of the worst things ever, if not the worst thing. But thank you everyone in New York who wore a mask, stayed home, washed your hands, did the things that we had to do, because today is a big milestone. And I look back at some of these shows years later, wanted to make sure we said something. Today we had 0 deaths in New York City reported from COVID. It's the first time since March 11th when the first one was reported. So thank you, fellow New Yorkers, for keeping each other safe.
Wear a mask.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching Desk of Lady Ada.